All right, guys. I think we're back. I think we're I think we're back. Let's see. Yeah, we get a boot up again, son. We're back. My freaking computer was bugging. Sorry, guys. My first, I bet for my first 15 streams are gonna be me trying to figure out shit. If I'm being real with you, but yeah, man. Hopefully, all you come back that were on last time. I'm just gonna literally hang out and just talk football, dude, because I got all day to do nothing. So why not? Why not hang out with you guys? Whoever wants to kick it, just sit and talk football, bro. Just put stuff in the chat. Just put whatever in the chat. We can talk about it. Former Tennessee CB Colton Hood visited with the Chiefs this week. Hmm. The Chiefs. Yeah, they need another corner. They got one good corner, but the young kid, what's his name? Jeez. I made a video on him. Noah Williams. He's good. I actually think he's pretty good, dude. I feel like he played into why the Kansas City Chiefs kind of I feel like he really played into why they traded Trent McDuffie. I truly believe that. Because if you watch his tape, I made a video on him. Go check it out. But I made a video on Noah Williams and he's actually pretty good and he did it on a lower snap count. So I don't know. Sometimes when you're a good team like the Chiefs, I know they've been kind of weird the past two seasons, even though they went to the Super Bowl. Um, they're you got to get rid of people. That's what some people don't understand when it comes to some of these teams, dude. Some people will be like they'll be like the casuals, the casual fans. But my one friend of mine, he was super upset that the Seattle Seahawks got rid of Kenneth Walker, and I'm like, dude, when you're a Super Bowl team, they have to make like difficult decisions. They can't keep everybody, and they also think about the future as well. You know what I mean? They're like, well, we have to have so player. We have this cap space. Some fans will like see a cap space. People will see the cap space and be like, why are we using it to get so and so so and so? At this point, all the good free agents are pretty much like people have taken them, but they also preserve that cap space for the future as well. So you look at Seattle, you look at what they got going. They just paid Jackson Smith and Jigba. They just paid um Shaheed. They have Sam Darnold. Like, they could possibly add somebody else on that offense, but they have to look forward to what they're gonna be needing to pay their defense. Because their defense with McDonald is what we really talk about when it comes to Seattle Seahawks. And I'm not taking away anything. I'm not taking absolutely anything away from Sam Darnold in that offense because I love Sam Darnold. There's just a bunch of QBs in the league that get some shit. People talk about them, and I just really enjoy watching them play the game of football. Like when Sam Darnold was on the Minnesota Vikings, and he lit it up that year. Like how many? What did he go for that year, dude? Like 33 passing touchdowns or some shit. Sam Darnold Vikings stats. Because I remember as soon as the offseason hit and people were talking about that playoff game, that's all people wanted to talk about. Yeah, he went for 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He had a rating of 102.5, 4,319 passing yards, 66.2 completion percentage. And at that point, that was the highest in Sam Darnold's career. The highest. And I thought he was insane, dude. I thought he was insane. And all people could do is think about that playoff game. And I'm like, okay, what about Lamar? What about Josh Allen? What about Justin Herbert? We've seen so many good QBs shit the bed in the playoffs. And I'm like, so just because he hasn't had a pretty successful career up to this point, we can't give him the benefit of the doubt. Like the Minnesota Vikings, realistically, they should have retained him. He should be their quarterback, but they decided to go another route, and now it's burning them. And I'm not going after JJ McCarthy because JJ McCarthy's young, but at the same time, he's always hurt. And along with not playing good, it's not a good. It's not good. And now they got Kyler Murray, but these Super Bowl teams, they can't keep everybody. Going back to what I said earlier, they cannot keep everybody. Sooner or later, you have to move on from some of the guys you have. It just is what it is, and that's why Kenneth Walker is now on the Kansas City Chiefs, and they needed a running back. I thought Pacheco was solid, but they needed more. So now they have it, and that's why they got rid of Trent McDuffie. Just like I said with Seattle Seahawks, can't keep everybody. Bring in a young guy, get rid of a guy that some people view in the league as like a top player, and get a good draft pick for him, and that's exactly what the Chiefs did. The Chiefs need to reload because they really don't look that good right now. Let's be real. They're a team that I think could flip the switch, but they need to figure out some serious shit. Just is what it is. Need to get my homie back. My homie that was in the chat with me, Tennessee Titans fan. My boy. Let's see. See what's going on X. Give us tons of NFL news, tons. Rich Eisen, he says the Jet. What do you say? In the last stream, part 1 that I made, where I had to end it because shit just got choppy, we were talking about a little bit about Ty Simpson. Rich Eisen, there's a quote right here on NFL ESPN on X, and he says, I don't think the Jets should take Ty Simpson. And I'm like, I agree 1,000% because I was like, I don't think the Jets should be worrying about the quarterback position. They need to worry about rebuilding that whole team. They just need a solid guy in the building, but having a young guy that I feel like they'll just ruin his career, that's fucked up to say, but like, we just know that with certain franchises in the NFL right now, like they're just not the best support system. You look at the Jets right now, there's a lot of questions with their coach. I mean, their owner, there's questions with him. And now they have a bunch of holes on their offense and defense, along with a bunch of picks. Might just bring in somebody solid. Who do they have? Carson Wentz? Carson Wentz with the Jets? Is he? Who's the Jets QB? Oh shit, it's Geno Smith. I forgot. Oh, forgot about that. Oh yeah, because freaking Aaron Glenn was like, he's our guy that's gonna lead us to the promised land. I was like, what? What? I was like, to the promised land, huh? Interesting. Very interesting. Well, he says unless one falls to them. Yeah. I don't know though, man. Like, I just don't know how I feel about the Jets taking a young QB. I'm like, just ride it out with Geno Smith and have a backup. But yeah, that's a good point. If somebody falls to them in the draft, then yeah, I guess they should take a QB because like you got to give your players hope, right? And if Geno Smith is the guy that they're gonna roll with forward, like I said with Aaron Glenn, like he's always gonna lose the promised land. It's like no, you need a guy who the players in the locker room can have faith in because if these players are just going into games knowing they're gonna lose, that's really gonna make the locker room turn on Aaron Glenn. Like Aaron Glenn is already in a like kind of a weird spot right now where some people are like, he's not gonna last long, this and that. Then you hear the owner, who was it, Woody Johnson. You hear him talking about it, and he seems supportive of Aaron Glenn. But if the locker room players are not, if they have no hope, they will sooner or later turn on him. So yeah, if a quarterback falls to them in the draft, I guess they should take him. I guess they should take him. I don't know, man. I'm not a big believer in a lot of quarterbacks in this draft. I'm just not. Fernando Mendoza, we'll see if he works out. We'll see if he works out. Like I talked about earlier, I think that he's going into a good situation. But outside of him, I like the Vanderbilt kid. What's his name? I always forget his name. Vanderbilt QB. Talked about him earlier. He's in Gruden camp. Yeah, Diego Pavia. I really like that kid, dude. And I feel like if you put him in a good room, he's also another guy. But outside of those two, Mendoza and Diego, I'm not vibing with any of these guys. I don't think that these other quarterbacks are going to be good. But hell, what do I know? There could be a Brock Purdy, you know, in the mix in the later rounds. You just never know in the NFL. You just never know. The first two rounds get hyped up a lot, but there are a lot of diamonds in those later rounds. Like third round and after, there are a lot of good players in the draft if you can just find them. There really is. Let's see what else we could find in the NFL, bro. You see, once we get more people in here, some people will just be putting shit in the chat. Now we just have one homie, you know, we just have Informed Watcher. He's holding up the stream right now. So props to him. Props to Informed Watcher. Because he's on the stream right now. But once we get more people in these streams, we'll be able to just, people will just talk, put stuff in the chat. We just sit and talk about it. But right now, I got to literally doom scroll on X, find shit to talk about. Right? Like I didn't come into this stream with a list. I just came in, guns and blazing. Which honestly, I probably should have looked up some things before I came into this, but I was like, who the fuck cares, bro? We're just winging it. Dolphins GM. John Eric Sullivan aiming for extension with running back Devon Achane. Quotes, not available for trade. He is their best player on their team, in my opinion. Devon Achane is the best player on the Miami Dolphins, besides their center. Their center, what's his name? Aaron, Dolphins center. Dude, he's like the Dolphins center. What's his name, bro? Yeah, Aaron Brewer. Aaron Brewer, he's 6'1", 295, dude. You need to watch tape on this dude, because I watched a little bit. So whenever I make when I've been doing the Devon Achane videos, I've done like 2 or 3 this year. He literally stands out on that team on the offensive line. He is their best offensive lineman by far. Not only is he their best offensive lineman by far, he is the best, if not second best center in the entire National Football League. Yeah. Yeah. You can sit there and argue with me. Some people may feel a different type of way. Maybe you could put him at third, but I really truly believe that he is the best, if not second, in the entire NFL. And he's quick too. He's very quick, man. He flies out like back in the day when I used to watch Jason Kelce would fly down the field and do shit. And Jason Kelce, Aaron Brewer, they're not the only offensive linemen that do that. There are plenty of offensive linemen we see do that, right? They're pulling out, they're all the way down the field. But Aaron Brewer, bro, he's got some wheels. Like that dude's got some wheels. Like the Miami Dolphins, they have a lot of problems. Their center position is not one of them. Their running back position with Devon Achane getting back on track because I fell off track. Devon Achane, dude, I truly believe with just a solid offense around, a good scheme with Bobby Slowick, if they really can get it going with Malik Willis, I think that Devon Achane could go off. I would not be shocked if he has a top 3 rushing season. We just witnessed what James Cook did with, and what was this? Was this his 3rd or 4th year with James Cook? I'm trying to remember. But we saw what he did this last year with Josh Allen. He was the leading rusher in the league. I think that with Malik Willis, and I said this in my film video, I think with Malik Willis and Devon Achane and Bobby Slowick, I feel like there's so much flexibility in just the way they can really get that run game going with Devon Achane. And then you have a running quarterback. It makes things confusing for defenses. Bobby Slowick did not have that when he was with the Houston Texans. And CJ Stroud, he's not, CJ Stroud can run around a little bit, but can't run like Malik Willis. So I'm extremely excited for this upcoming year with a mobile quarterback. What Devon Achane can do, because I think that dude is really underrated. I really don't feel like he's getting a lot of love. I watched John Middlecoff talk about Devon Achane, and he was talking about how like exceptional he's been, not being talked about enough, and how he's a major factor in the passing game too. Devon Achane he gets so many receptions, dude, and just this upcoming year, I truly believe that he could go insane. And if as in terms of fantasy football, if you see Devon Achane, don't pass up on him. Don't. If you're choosing between wide receiver, unless you get one of those top three, top four wide receivers, and you have Devon Achan on there, draft Devon Achan. I'm telling you, dude. Listen to me. I'm telling you, draft Devon Achan. It's gonna be a really good option, especially in a team that doesn't really have much weapons on offense. Can't wait for fantasy football, man. I can't wait. I love fantasy football so much. It's my dog. Hey, no licking. Licking back there, bro. I hate that sound. Especially at nighttime. You ever been you ever been sleeping? Like I don't know if your dogs like sleep on the ground or up on your bed in your room, but you know when you wake up in the middle of the night and you can hear them licking. You're like, bro, stop it. You're like, stop it. It's like, listen, bud, I'm not trying to be rude, but your licking sound is disgusting. What's this? Actually, yeah, dude. I don't know if you guys, dude. I know I'm talking about the Eagles a lot, but I'm an Eagles fan, so I'm gonna bring up the birds whenever the fuck I want. Um, but did you guys watch the like Howie Roseman talking about Jalen Hurts? And he's talking about Jalen Hurts. He's talking about AJ Brown. Dude, he kept it so professional. He kept it so real. In Howie Roseman's language, when the reporter asked about Jalen Hurts reports and shit, you can just tell Howie Roseman is a little bit annoyed. Just the way he was talking, just like with the language, dude. He's just saying like he's like it's unfortunate, like we don't view him that way in this building and all this stuff. All the reports we hear are this shit that's coming out from the birds is internal, and I'm like, is it? Or are people just making up shit? He said I didn't see that clip. Wait, which clip are you talking about? Informed Watcher? Which clip are you talking about? Sorry, bro. I just be talking and I forget shit really quick. So I'm going through so many things. Part of it. Okay, so I'm sure you guys have seen the news how like Troy Aikman kind of he's like doing stuff with the he's doing things with the Miami Dolphins. And some people were concerned, right? Cuz some people were like, well, like what do you say? I didn't see the clip. Oh, hold up. We'll go back to that Troy Aikman. I didn't see that clip, the Jalen Hurts one. Oh, yeah. Howie Roseman, he was talking about Jalen, bro. You should look it up. It was a pretty cool clip because he's like standing up for he's pretty much standing up for Jalen Hurts. But no, back to Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman, people are talking about how he's involved with the Dolphins. And some people are concerned because you know how Troy Aikman does he does like what does Troy Aikman do? Does he do Monday night football? Thursday night football? I'm trying to remember what he does, but they do like they like meet with the team, they do all this stuff, they talk scheme, all this stuff. And um, since he's a broadcaster, since he talks during the games, some people are concerned about his role with the Miami Dolphins, like cheating and all this shit. And I saw somebody talking and they were like, don't even. Like don't even start with this. They're like, look at Tom Brady. Look at Tom Brady with the Las Vegas Raiders. And I agree entirely. I'm like, if Tom Brady can do what he's doing and be way more involved than Troy Aikman, I think that Troy Aikman can do what he's doing with the Miami Dolphins. That's just me. Like I don't see any reason. Like what Troy Aikman's doing with the Miami Dolphins, he is not nearly involved as Tom Brady is with the Las Vegas Raiders. It's not even close. So I agree. I'm like, I don't want to hear that shit. Don't be talking about collusion and all this bullshit. Ty Simpson visiting with the Cardinals on Wednesday. Ooh, I haven't thought of them taking Ty Simpson. And it's like we talked about in the last three in part one. They the Arizona Cardinals are playing catch up with three teams in their division. Three teams that have a realistic shot of getting to the NFC Championship game. So they gotta catch up, bro. They unless you want to just, sit in the back and keep your fans unsatisfied. Dude, there's so much fucking Pat McAfee on my X feed. Like I dead ass might just like unfollow Pat McAfee and just follow him from like by Explore and shit because I'm like they talk about so much stuff on his podcast on their show. And some of it's not football, so I'm like, ugh. Like I just want to talk football. Dude. You know, I made the basketball video. I like talking basketball a little bit, and I'm gonna be real with you guys, dude. I think I'm gonna watch these NBA playoffs a little bit more because I have not been paying attention to the NBA honestly since like 2019. I just have not paid attention. I'll look up like highlights, like best crossovers of the 2023 season or some shit, you know, stuff like that. But I just haven't paid attention. But I'm gonna pay attention in this upcoming in these upcoming playoffs because I don't know. I've just been seeing some shit in the NBA, and I'm like, damn, bro, I've been so out. I haven't even known what's been going on. Like, I guess Giannis Antetokounmpo. I guess has he been playing like ass for you people that pay attention? I just have not been paying attention, so I like don't know. But I'm like, damn, bro. I'm like, I thought Giannis was like the man. I've always thought he's the man, but I'm like, is he or him in the Bucks gonna be like splitting up soon? Like, what's going on there? But that's the latest NBA news I've heard. But I'm like, I am so out of the loop on this shit, bro. I need to pull back in. Not entirely because the NBA, I just don't feel like that anymore. But I'm like, you know, I want to pay attention a little bit more. I want to pay attention a little bit more. Iman Shumpert. Oh yeah, bro. I used to love watching Iman. There's a lot of Dolphin shit on here, dude. That's what goes back to earlier. I'm seeing a bunch of Dolphin stuff, and people are wanting to trade for Devon Achan. Informed Watcher says, same. I just saw my friend post the Spurs have a playoff game on Insta, and I had no idea the playoffs even started. And dude, here's the thing. Here's the thing going back to the NBA just real quick. The NBA's ratings are not good. They're not. So like, dude, I'll argue with people all day. I'll argue with people all day about NFL ratings compared to the other leagues because I'm like, I look at MLB, I look at NBA. I'm like, what is on the NFL's tier? Now, like national soccer, like, you know, the whole world as a whole, like that, those ratings are insane. But as in terms of American sports, our sports leagues, I'm like, I don't think anybody is competing on the NFL's level. I just don't. And the NBA, I just think they need to just do a better job with what they're doing, bro. I feel like when 2019 happened, I feel like they got so political. When 2020 happened, I feel like they got so political and it pushed out so many fans, dude. In some of these leagues, when it comes to politics, it's a fine line, right? So I feel like you can dabble a little bit, but if you get too much into that, people go to sports to get away from geopolitics and all that shit, right? It's like we don't want it involved in sports. The NBA in 2020, they really pushed it, and I get it, right? Like there's you know Black Lives Matter, all that stuff. There's certain causes people just need to be made aware of, and I get it. Like I have nothing against all that shit, but I'm like, dude, when you dabble way too far into politics and it takes away from the sports what people are trying to watch, I feel like it pushes some people away to the point where they just won't come back. But I'm trying to get back into the NBA though, dude. Like I love basketball, I really do. I'm just so out of tune. I don't really know like I just don't know the players like that anymore, and it makes me mad, bro. He said, I informed Watcher, I even think the NFL is bigger in America than soccer is worldwide. That's a good point, dude. You may be right. So like so it's like soccer as a whole is like huge, right? Especially in like Europe, uh other places around the world, but like just the way we view it and the way it's portrayed in the NFL, like in America, it's so massive and the branding is so huge. And that's why when people try to shit on it and they try to talk about like NBA, MLB, I'm like, bro, I just don't really think those are on the same tier anymore. I don't. I feel like the NFL has just really separated itself. And it that doesn't mean that the NBA, MLB, that doesn't mean that these leagues can't like it doesn't mean that they can't like improve and start to build upon and get large and huge like the NFL. that's not out of question, but just right now, they're just not on that level. It is what it is. A lot of people like to shit on Roger Goodell, but Roger Goodell, like, you look at the NFL and you see what's going on, bro. It's like people are always talking about the NFL. Even in the off season, we still got shit to talk about. Even though it's a little bit of a slow period right now, but hey, we find a way. We find a way. That's why I like to talk about just like players and do film reviews on players and shit, dude. Because you could literally do a whole off season talking about just doing film review on a shit ton of players in the NFL. But I'm not trying. I'm not. I like to do a lot of film videos, but I'm not. I don't like to only do film videos. It's just fun. The reason I like doing film videos is because I just have my own way of doing it, right? You watch other people do it. They're much more not everybody because everybody does it in their own way, but my way of doing film, super laid back, you know what I mean? Just like kind of like talking shit while I'm doing it, but also highlighting the good things within a player, right? Talking about a couple negative things, things they can work on, but just having a fun time doing it as opposed to being like super like, professional. Anyone you really like in the draft? Dude, I'm trying to think. There's this there's a corner. I'm trying to think of the corner that I dude, I every day. Here's the thing with the NFL draft. There's content creators on YouTube that they know all the players in the NFL draft. I don't know all the players in the NFL draft. And I don't know how the fuck they even keep up with all of those athletes. I just have no idea. But there's a couple corners that I really like, dude. I just can't remember the names if I'm being real with you. I just can't. Like let's look it up. Let's look it up. Let's look up let me go on Pro Football Focus. That's just what I use. Football Focus isn't the end all be all, but yeah, let's look at this right here. Cuz I bet I can find some of these guys that I really like in this draft. And some guys that are underrated too. Like okay, so just wide receiver. So I said corner, but wide receiver, Carnell Tate. And Cardinal Tate right here, I'm looking at this, and they have him as like the best wide receiver in the draft. And I do think that Cardinal Tate is the best wide receiver in the draft. And Jordan Tyson, wide receiver at Arizona State, I also really am intrigued by him as well. I'm just concerned with like his whole like, what he's got going on with like injuries and shit like that. That can be a slippery slope depending on the team. But there are some players in this draft that I really like. There are like Kenyon Sadiq, and I know I'm just talking about some of the top guys, but Kenyon Sadiq, I'm gonna tell you right now, I am really intrigued by Kenyon Sadiq because I'm like, we're talking about a tight end is a little bit shorter, not super short, right? But he's a little bit shorter, still built decent, somewhat on a little bit of the smaller side, some would say, but he blocks so good. He blocks so good and he runs routes so well. That's a guy that I think every single NFL team wants on their squad. No question. Kenyon Sadiq, tight end out of Oregon Ducks, for people that don't know. He is probably uh my favorite prospect in this draft. He really is. Like, dude, I've just watched so much on him, and when you combine the route running along with the blocking, I just feel like it makes it tough. Like if he doesn't go in the top 10, I will be shocked. I I really will. I will be shocked if he somehow got all the way down to 20, which I don't think he will. But if he makes it out of the top 10, I'll be like, holy shit! Like who's tripping? Who's on shrooms? Who's on acid? You know what I mean? Like what the fuck? How are you gonna let that guy drop out of the top 10? I think that in itself is wild. But no, there's some guys in this draft, dude. A lot probably love college football a lot more than NFL, and that's how they remember everything. Yeah, that's true too. Because, dude, I watch college football. Here's the thing: I watch college football. I love college football, but I can't remember names like that, dude. I don't remember them until they get into the NFL, and then when I start to see the name more often, then I start to know them. But yeah, you're probably right. It's because they watch a lot of college football too, or maybe some of these guys that just like know some of these prospects so well, they're already doing their pre-draft like during the course of the season. You know what I mean? Like they're already charting, they're already looking all that shit up. Maybe that plays into it too, but I can't keep up. I can't keep up. I try my best, and in the future, I'm gonna try to get better for you guys too, just so I know what the fuck I'm talking about. But there's just so many prospects, dude. There's so many. And for some of the people that just sit there and they know who they're talking about, some people, I'm not saying all people, because I'm not trying to fucking start a beef with any content creator. I'm a small ass YouTuber. But some of the guys, I'm like, how do you know all those prospects? Like sometimes when I hear people talk about prospects and I've actually watched the guy play in college, I'm like, do you know or do you not know? You know what I mean? And like, as in terms of like current NFL YouTubers, football analysis is like my favorite. He's so good, dude. Football analysis is so good at what he does, and I love his style. I've been watching that guy for a while. Tyson could be elite. Yeah, dude. He literally could be. He literally could be. And I was talking to somebody the other day about Jordan Tyson, and they were like, "Well, his stats in college weren't nothing crazy." And I'm like, "Well, there's a lot of college football prospects that their stats really weren't that crazy while they were in college football. I can just think of one off the top of my head. Puka Nacua when he was at BYU, his stats they weren't crazy at all at BYU. I think the biggest season like he had was like 500 or 600 receiving yards. I have to fact check that, but he wasn't too crazy, bro. And we we know what he is now. It's like you get these guys. This is for all NFL players, especially on offense. You get them in the right scheme around other good players, they can go off, especially with the good QB as in terms of like wide receivers, they can literally go nuclear. So, yeah, dude, football analysis is great. Like I said, he's my favorite NFL YouTuber, dude. That dude knows his shit. And it even boosts my ego too when it comes to football analysis. I've been in his live streams and I'll like bring up something on a super chat and he like agrees with me and I'm like, "Oh, that just validates me." Makes me feel like I know what the fuck I'm talking about, but no, I absolutely love his community. I love being part of his community, dude. I hope that in the future if I ever were to like get a decent size of followers, I could have like do a stream with him because dude, I think that dude's the shit. He's a homie. All right, let's see what else is going on here, bro. Just scroll through X, find some stuff, find some stuff. Oh, how about this? Yeah, bro. I've been seeing people call the Raiders about their number one pick. They ain't trading that shit, dude. Let's be real here. Pickens. Oh yeah, I've already made a video talking about Pickens and how I think he's gonna be traded. I've talked about that before. What do you guys think? Do you guys think Pickens is gonna be traded? I'm pretty confident that George Pickens is gonna be traded. I would be shocked if Jerry Jones pays two wide receivers a shit ton of money. I'd be shocked. I could be wrong, but I'll be shocked. Jerry's really stingy, and he likes to negotiate without the agents with the players. And I don't know, man. I feel like that's pretty slippery slope in my opinion. Just think about that. Just think about an NFL contract. Who a lot of us we really don't know what's written up in those contracts, but I bet you there's a lot of stipulations. Bet you there's a lot of contractual language that you just don't know what they're saying, right? To have an agent there on your side, going through it, talking about it, it's probably nice. And I'm sure Jerry doing it, he's probably doing it and he has somebody there explaining it to the players. But it's like, no, man, I want my agent here to make sure I'm not getting fucked, you know? And the way he negotiates, I mean, hell, they've gotten it done with players, but we just saw Michael Parsons get traded, and I'm like, they're franchise tagging George Pickens. When you franchise tag players, let's say you do it once, you do it twice. I feel like it never works out. That player will always just end up leaving, or they're gonna sit out. They're not gonna sign their the franchise. But I don't know. We've seen it before. It's not like it hasn't happened. But with George Pickens in the season that he had, I'm like that demands wide receiver one money, and I don't think Jerry's gonna pay for it. So Who knows? Who knows? Maybe Jerry maybe he shocks the world and they end up paying Pickens. But there's a lot of teams that would like George Pickens on their team. Yeah, and it says right here, Cowboys haven't received calls about potential George Pickens trade. And I'm like, there's a lot of people that want George Pickens. Don't lie to me. I wonder if Jerry will retire before he dies. I, I don't know, dude. I don't know. Dude, it feels like Jerry Jones has looked the same for the past like 10 years. And he's just kicking. And I absolutely love it, dude. I love everything that revolves around Jerry Jones and just him talking to the media over the coaches, being super involved in the locker room and stuff. I'm like, it's really entertaining. I bet it's not the most fun for a Cowboys player, but I don't know. They're probably used to that shit. I feel like Dak and all them, they probably get used to that after a while, even though all the other teams ain't operating the same way they are. But hell, who knows, man? I know we're literally just looking for random shit, but I'm not ending this stream unless my shit starts getting choppy. I'm literally just hanging out on here because I ain't got nothing else to do today. We're just gonna sit and see what we can find with some football. Oh yeah, did you guys see the yeah? Did you guys see the Panthers GM how he was talking? I'm gonna look this up right here just so I don't get it wrong. But they were like asking him about like their selection in the draft and shit like that. And he's like, I think with anything we're going to take the best player, but he said, so if the best player is we feel is at 19, I wouldn't hesitate to draft another wideout. I don't think there's a rule that says you can't draft a wide receiver 3 years in a row. So I'm not really going to box us in and say we're not going to draft him. Could you imagine if they drafted another wide receiver? I'm like, I ain't against it, bro. I'm like, give Bryce Young everything just to make sure if something happened and you guys moved off him, so you for sure know that he's the guy or he's not the guy. Because I see potential in Bryce Young, but it's just really inconsistent. So it's just trying to figure out like what the fuck is going on there. And he says he somehow always gets good players. Like I'm surprised how well he can make a team. Exactly, dude. And me being an Eagles fan, I like to talk shit on the Cowboys. But in reality, I'm like, as in terms of like drafting, I'm like the Jones family, like Steven and Jerry, they know what they're doing, man. Like just look back at when Dak was drafted in like the what is it? Like the 4 or 5 drafts after Dak was drafted, they were hitting on a lot of prospects. They were hitting on a lot. And the one thing that the Jones family they have going for them is they draft really good offensively for the offensive line. They know how to draft offensive linemen. So you know how like some teams just know how to draft certain positions like really well, right? We just see that like there's like a pattern with certain teams. The Dallas Cowboys on the offensive line, they know what they're doing. Whenever I see people talking shit with Jerry and them, I'm like, hold up, they know what they're doing when it comes to drafting offensive linemen. That's the one thing they got going for them. They got other shit too, but I'm like, they can hang their hat on that. They can hang their hat on that for sure. Bills GM Brandon Bean not giving up on wide receiver Keon Coleman. He's got to go do it. What the fuck does that mean? Dude, I don't fuck with Brandon Bean. Ever since like all him kind of like, just the way he was going out with the head coach got fired. What was the head coach? Why am I forgetting names right now, dude? You see, you guys are making me nervous on stream. I'm forgetting names because I'm like, oh, I got an audience. I got an audience. I only got a couple people watching me, but now I'm all nervous and shit. Sean McDermott. I didn't even look up the name, dude. I had the search bar pulled up. I was about to type it in, but it came to me. I don't like how he threw Sean McDermott under the bus. And for that, I don't like Brandon Bean. Like, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm like, he kind of seems like a GM that gets away with some shit because the owner backs him up. throwing his guy under the bus. I didn't have anything to do with it. It was the coach that wanted to draft the wide receiver. I'm like, you're the general manager. You have say too, bro. Quit fucking capping. What does this say? The Bills continue to suggest that wide receiver Keon Coleman remains very much in their plans. 2026. Leading that charge is general manager Brandon Beane. It's not all talk. I think Keon understands what he can control and what he can't. And we all mature at different times. It's not an ability thing with him. I think he's shown plenty when he's been dialed in and connected with quarterback and play call, and everyone else is all in. But when you let the stuff that occurred off field, that then affects what your opportunities are on field. Okay. Okay. I don't know. Keon Coleman's tough. That clip that's circulating of Cam Newton kind of like making fun of him, like, "Oh, you're eating the cookies." Dude, I think that's one of the funniest things on the internet. Like, "Oh, you think you're funny eating the cookies," and then he just hasn't been good on field. But I don't know. There's a lot of talk about Keon Coleman. I don't know. The Bills kind of annoy me. I'm not gonna lie. I love the Buffalo Bills, but the just like the victim mentality in it with freaking Josh Allen drives me fucking nuts, dude. It drives me nuts. Like that fumble that he had with the Denver Broncos in the playoffs. I'm like, what the fuck was that? I'm like, what was that? And then everybody, oh, it's just Josh Allen. He doesn't have any help. I'm like, well, he had the leading rusher. And yeah, I'm like, there's a lack of talent there at the wide receiver position. But I'm like, let's not act like he didn't play like shit against the Denver Broncos. Now, some people will just like, they'll just excuse it because they're like, well, Josh played bad, but the Bills were still in the game. I'm like, they were still in the game, but the game honestly could have went different if he wasn't fumbling before half, scrambling with one hand on the ball, freaking loose as a goose, bro. I'm like, tuck that shit, man. This is the Denver Broncos. They're a good ass defense. Fumble before half. Ooh, bro. I know I'm going off. I'm sorry. Bills fans that are in my subs, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to shit on Josh. I'm just frustrated about how the media attacks other QBs and gives Josh like the excuse or the benefit of the doubt with everything. I'm like, he deserves some blame here. Yes, he is one of the best 3 quarterbacks in the NFL. Best top 3, top 4, wherever you want to put him in that list. But he deserves blame. Let's not act like he doesn't. Josh Allen himself also whines too much compared to some other QBs. Absolutely. Absolutely, he does. Like I said, Bills fans, this is not an attack on Josh Allen, but I'm tired of the fucking excuses. No excuses. No excuses. But what? So let me see. The Buffalo Bills, they traded for DJ Moore. Now they have a couple of those young guys. They got Khalil Shakir. They got Keon Coleman. Now they could add another guy in this draft. They could. Let's say they draft a wide receiver in round 1 or round 2. They could do that. I think that would benefit them because Dalton Kincaid has kind of been a disappointment in my opinion up to this point. So yeah, I do think they should add somebody else for Josh Allen. But I'm not going to sit here and act like he doesn't have a pretty damn good offensive line. He doesn't have a good running back. I've heard other quarterbacks, be like, well, they benefited from a good running back. I'm like, well, he also benefited from a good running back. But if the Bills, I think they're going to be good this upcoming year. Do they win the Super Bowl? Possibly. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, let's stop making excuses for Josh Allen, dude. I'm kind of over that shit. That's just me. Yeah, like you said, Josh Allen also whines too much compared to some other QBs. Ward Hurts, Lamar. Dude, I can make a whole list. And I know I just named some black quarterbacks, but there's also white quarterbacks for people that think I'm not trying to do that. There's other quarterbacks of all races that get criticized, but for some whatever reason, Josh just gets cry. I'm like, bro, I know how good Josh Allen is, but I'm like, we need to come to terms that there needs to be some accountability in him not playing good in certain spots. That's all I'm saying. If Josh Allen doesn't have those turnovers in that game and some of that like some of those stupid plays, the Buffalo Bills could have went to the AFC Championship game and they could have beat the fucking New England Patriots. Let's be real. He just had to play good. I think I've been scarred because there's so many years where I've been like the Bills are gonna be good, the Bills are gonna be good, and they burned me. That's probably also part of it. If I'm being real with you, it's probably also part of it. Okay, so what's happening with the? Is Aaron Rodgers signing with the Steelers or not? What's going on there, bro? Like, is he just gonna go in limbo? Like, is he? What the fuck is going on there, dude? Let me see. Aaron Rodgers, Steelers. Oh, what does this say? Aaron Rodgers. Adam Schefter says Aaron Rodgers delays could impact Steelers draft. What? As in terms of them like thinking about drafting a young QB? Is that what they're talking about? Is that what they're talking about? Yeah. Well, yeah, I could see that because last year Aaron Rodgers was just kind of chilling, and he was undecided. He's kind of playing the cookie, like, "Oh, I'm gonna sign. I'm not gonna sign." And there was one Steelers player that was kind of annoyed by it, I remember, but no, I could see Aaron Rodgers being indecisive, affecting their draft. What they're gonna do in the draft, but I don't know. In my opinion, they should have brought in Malik Willis. Like I had the Pittsburgh Steelers. I thought the Pittsburgh Steelers were gonna be the team to bring in Malik Willis, and they didn't. And I was really disappointed in that. I'm like, dude, I'm like, you guys can sit here and do this thing with Aaron Rodgers, but in my opinion, the Pittsburgh Steelers have been literally in purgatory with the quarterback position. I'm like, you keep Aaron Rodgers there. I'm like, you're just delaying the problem. I'm like, bring in Malik Willis. We saw what Malik Willis did with Matt LaFleur. Mike McCarthy knows what the hell he's doing coaching, dude. Even in his time when he was at the Dallas Cowboys still had a good offense. Even when Kellen Moore was the OC and Mike McCarthy took over, the offense was still good. So I thought they missed out an opportunity, but bringing in one of these other young QBs, I'm like, in a QB draft where I just don't really believe in it, like I talked about earlier, and I could be wrong. I'm like, yeah, you guys missed your opportunity. I'm like, A-Rod is your only saving grace right now. I bet A-Rod, informed watcher says, I bet A-Rod will like a week before the season. If not, they will roll with Will Howard. Yeah, I could see that. I forget about Will Howard. Dude, how good was Will Howard in college too? I'm just curious. I never looked his shit up in college, dude. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Let's pull up some shit. Kansas State, Ohio State, 6th round selection. All right. All right. He's tall, 6'4", 235 pounds. Not bad. It's decent. All right. Let's see his good years right before he was drafted. All right. So in 2022, 15 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. 2023, 24 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. When he went to Ohio State, 2024, 35 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Now, you know, being in Ohio State, you have a luxury of good wide receivers. So I'm not saying that benefited him like it doesn't benefit any other quarterback because a quarterback's got to have weapons, right? We all know that. But there's a big jump there. There's a big jump there from 24 to 35. But hell, man, I mean, maybe Will Howard can ball for all I know. I just don't know. Dude, I'll tell you what. You want to know one of my biggest fuck ups was something that I thought of a player when they came into the league and they just ended up not being that good. Just spit all over, man. Sheesh. Too much saliva. Um yeah, Joe Burrow. So when Joe Burrow was drafted, me and a friend that I talk a lot of football with, and it's not like we're stupid. But I thought that Joe Burrow, I didn't think he was gonna be good. I didn't, dude. I was like, eh. I was like, year 2 with LSU. I was like, I don't know, man. I was like, he had some insane season. I was like, I've seen other players have insane seasons. Joe Burrows was one of a kind. But I didn't really think that Joe Burrow was gonna work out with Cincinnati Bengals. Boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong, man. Really wrong on Joe Burrow. But I feel like Joe Burrow's largest thing right now is staying healthy, bro. He needs to stay healthy because it's just, yeah, he's been getting hurt. And when I know you guys watched him with that flag football. I heard that Shanahan was telling him like, bro, you need to chill and like practices and shit. And I feel like Joe Burrow's just the type of guy, just like go hard or go home. You know what I mean? And now we have all this talk about him possibly wanting to leave, possibly not wanting to be on the team. And I haven't really looked into that. Has Joe Burrow shut that shit down? I saw offensive lineman on the Bengals kind of said something about it, but if they're not good this upcoming year, I'd be willing to bet that he won't want to be on the team anymore. In my opinion, I'm just guessing. Maybe that's not what he's thinking. Maybe he's just thinking, nah, build off it, get better. But if they're not good this year, Zach Taylor's job will be in jeopardy. I bet you people start talking about Zach Taylor. And I don't know if they fire Zach Taylor because if you look at the Bengals offense, which he's involved in the offense, right? The Bengals offense is good and they've been good. That's Zach Taylor's, that's his baby. And so for that, I don't really think he should be fired. I think it just all comes down to that damn defense. But if Joe Burrow were to go to one team, I'd see it as the Rams. I've seen people say that, and I agree with it. It's like, yeah. Sean McVay bringing in Joe Burrow. Sean McVay would be, we've heard Sean McVay talk about possibly, leaving, considering retirement. If they were to bring in Joe Burrow, Sean McVay would be around for another 10 to 12 years at least. Maybe if Joe Burrow makes it that long. But yeah, I don't know. Bengals are an interesting team. I just made a um freak, dude. Who did I make a video on just recently? Can you look at my videos? Forgot. Yeah, I just made a video on DJ Turner. And I made a video on Chase Brown. But DJ Turner, cornerback for the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals defense gets a lot of shit, but I don't know, man. They got some ballers on their defensive side. They got a couple guys, man. I know the defense is literal trash, but I'm like, nah, dude, they got some guys on the defensive side. Yeah, man, I don't know. Let's look up a couple more things, guys. we're literally just we're literally just rolling here, just chilling. Gunnar Helm? Who's that? Gunnar Helm. Titans play. Ooh, tight end? Tight end on the Titans? Oh, dude, I don't know who this is. I don't know this Titans player. Let's see. Is he on the Titans? Yeah, he's on the Titans. All right, let's look up his stats. He go crazy or nah? Dude, I get you. I'll tell you what, informed watcher. I'll tell you what, man. I've heard some coaches and some like major outlet media I've heard them say like, "Oh, Tennessee's a smaller market." Well, there's certain fan bases I kind of like struggle to reach out to, right? And in the future, I'm sure it will get better as I make more videos. But there's just some like since I'm a smaller YouTuber, there's just certain fan bases that are just really hard for me to get views from. But you guys, Tennessee Titans fans, you guys go crazy on my videos, bro. I love whenever I make videos because you guys go crazy. Lots of Titans videos I've made, like bro, I at least get like 1K views. Like the first video I ever made on a Titans player was Traylon Burks, and I think it was like 8.7K views. I was like, oh shit. I was like, it's from Tennessee, so bro, you guys are always showing me love. So I'll definitely look into making a video on that, dude, for sure. 357 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, 16 games. Hmm, interesting. It's not bad. It's not bad. Oh. Yeah, I'll put it in my notes right here, dude. Let me see. I don't want to type on the screen so it messes up the stream. Gunner Helm. Gunner Helm. Yeah. Look up something on him. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Let's see what else NFL news we could find. I'll check her all day if I need to. I don't give a fuck. Until my girlfriend comes home at 5. We do a freaking 5-hour stream, dude. Shit, boy. I ain't staying here for that long, but. Oh, dude, the Diana Rossini shit is filling my feed. That lady needs to chill. She needs to chill. So many mock drafts. Yo, do you guys think that Kyler Murray's gonna be good? By the way, with the Minnesota Vikings, I think that Kyler Murray could be pretty good with the Minnesota Vikings with KOC. What do you guys think, though? I see how things worked out with the Arizona Cardinals, but KOC is pretty sure KOC is from the Shanahan tree, if I remember right. Shanahan tree. Yeah, KOC. Yeah, he's from the Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan tree. I just think that Kyler Murray is in such a great position to succeed. The only thing that will hold him back is the health and play of the Minnesota Vikings offensive line. I feel like that's the only thing that will hold him back because even though JJ McCarthy was ass this past season, the offensive line play was not there. And I mean, we even saw it when Carson Wentz was playing. Carson Wentz also struggled behind that offensive line. So, yeah, if the offensive line doesn't get any better, then it's not going to matter for Kyler Murray. Well, here's the thing with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray can run around faster than JJ McCarthy and Carson Wentz, so he has that going for him. But assuming that the play on the offensive line is decent, I'm expecting Kyler Murray to have a pretty damn good year. Pretty damn good year. I don't know if he's going to be out there like Sam Darnold, but it wouldn't shock me if he went for 28, 30, 32 passing touchdowns. Wouldn't shock me, along with some rushing touchdowns. It's just when you have Jordan Addison in Jettas is arguably the best in the league, in my opinion. In the last stream I talked about, I didn't say what player I was talking about, but I think Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the league, in my opinion. You got Jordan Addison on the other side. Jordan Addison is so good, dude. He's extremely underrated. I think that Kyler Murray he's in for some fun, dude. And they got TJ Hawkinson too. He has a tight end as well. They're stacked on the offensive side. That line just has to do their part. And hopefully Kyler Murray does his part too. He needs to play his game too, man, because we've seen him play a little bit weird, but I just think that he could have some success this year. I really do. Commanders. Washington Commanders. They need to add another wide receiver opposite of Terry McLaurin, though. Straight up. They need another wide receiver. Yeah, no one loves the Titans nationally, so we will show up when people talk about us. Fucking love that, dude. I love that. I love it. Well, also, I feel like once Braves was gone, I feel like some of that kind of I feel like it really dipped, right? Because you guys had some coaches that people just didn't know. Well, was it coaches or a coach? I don't know, but I just know that once Braves left, the vibe kind of changed and it was just kind of up in the air with Tennessee. And that sucks as a fan base and being a fan when you just don't really know what to expect. But I'll tell you this. When you don't know what to expect and your team is on the come up as opposed to just being good and they're already good and you expect them to be good, it is so much less stressful, man. It's so less stressful. You can go into the season just kind of chilling, not knowing what to expect, and you get what you get. When your team is good, bro, it's they better be good or else shit, shit can get sour. Lots of things, players traded, people fired, just so much happening. So being on the come up as a team, he can kind of be nice. I'm not gonna lie. And Cam Ward this past season, all the talk was we've never seen a first round pick not being talked about like Cam Ward. I feel like that benefited Cam Ward because when you have the media on your ass every single week, I don't think that's good for young QBs. I just don't. So I feel like that kind of benefited Cam Ward this past year, in my opinion. I don't know. You guys let me know what you guys think. I honestly believe that though. The media not being on his back all the time, he can just go out and play his game, whether it's good or bad. Saying a little couple crazy things in the media, you don't have them on you. It's like it's a free season of just like you know not having all that shit on your back. Yeah, Callahan sucked. He did suck. I agree. He did suck. Dude, get Diana Rusidi off of my shit. Get her off of my shit. Hey, be sure. Oh, for anybody that's on here, be sure to like and be sure to subscribe. All right. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'm gonna keep mentioning that. We'll see how long I can last on here. I'm gonna get some food here in a little bit. I'll give it like. We'll see if I last like another hour. Informed Watcher says, "Yeah, we love our young guys on our team, so we just want them to learn and have fun. It definitely helped Cam not having a ton of attention with the whole Sanders thing. Absolutely, absolutely. Let the Browns suffer. Let the Browns suffer. Nah, I'm rooting for Shadur though. It'll be interesting. I made a video talking about how they're kind of talking like Deshaun Watson is in the mix along with Shadur. Now I think Shadur has the pull in that scenario, but it is interesting. It is interesting. I thought that Deshaun Watson was out of the mix, but I just don't know with the Browns. I don't know. They're a team that also has good players, but the quarterback play is just really holding them back. But I feel bad for Browns fans, but for how it's played out, and I'll always keep mentioning this. I've been doing. I literally do it all the time when I talk about the Browns. I don't give a fuck. I don't care because I'm like they had Baker Mayfield. Dude. I'm gonna look at Baker Mayfield's last season with the Browns because Baker Mayfield stats. Because I'm like, you guys had a QB. You guys just wanted to trade for Watson. You guys got greedy. Okay, yeah. So the year Baker Mayfield, his last year, I remember he was dealing with shoulder injury. So he's just Baker Mayfield's a tough son of a gun, dude. Like he's just the type of guy that just won't want to come out of the game. So he's dealing with a shoulder injury, if I remember right. I could be wrong. Fact check me on that. But he just kept playing, and as a result of that, his season just really wasn't the best. Like he passed for like 3,000 yards, 17 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, and then I guess they were just over it. So they ended up they ended up getting rid of Baker Mayfield. But I'm like, dude, before that, his rookie year, 27 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. 2019, 22 touchdowns, 21 interceptions. That's kind of a lot. But 2020 Baker Mayfield, bro, before the year where he was like going through injuries, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. He was balling. I'm like, dude, you guys literally have a guy that you guys can keep around. But I get it. It was Baker Mayfield's fourth year. His contract year. You're like, oh, I'm just gonna give up on him. I'm like, you guys could have franchise tagged him and not bring in Sean Watson. Now you wouldn't be dealing with all this quarterback shit that you're currently dealing with. Now Shadur, I don't know. We'll see if Shadur can end up being good. Maybe he can end up being good for all we know. I don't know. We'll see. I think there's some upside there. I do, especially in the second year. New coach Todd Monken, who did wonders with Lamar Jackson. There's hope there, but I'm like, maybe no Deshaun Watson. Maybe no Deshaun Watson. Bengals left tackle Orlando Brown is making a strong push for Cincinnati to trade for Giants All Pro defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence. Yeah, I mean, Bengals could have him. They don't have an edge rush anymore, so they could definitely use some interior pressure. Yeah, I buy it. 49ers currently have 9 linebackers on their roster. Judas Priest, brother. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. Well, I mean, things change in the offseason during training camp and shit, but still. It's freaking dry as hell. What the fuck does this say? Vrabes is getting the gang back together. A lot of former Titans on the staff from coaches and obvious some players. I'm super excited to join this team. Kevin Byard on signing with the Patriots. They got some shit going, is what they got going. Bengals actually improved this offseason, so maybe they can make the playoffs if Joey doesn't get hurt. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see what they do in the draft, too, dude. They just need to get that fucking defense going. Because you can't. We've seen it in these past 2 Super Bowls, right? You see it. I mean, we saw it with Seattle. I look at when the Denver Broncos won the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. I look at when the Seattle Seahawks with the Legion of Boom. I look at, um, you know, you look at the Patriots when they beat the Los Angeles Rams. You look at the Eagles when they won. You look at Seattle Seahawks. A lot of these teams won with good defense, and you can't win in the National Football League without good defense. It's the old quote: "Defense wins championships," and it's true. For all the people that want to like sit there and like kind of negate that, talk about offense this, offense that, you can't win without good defense. You can't go out there and sit and you know, throw for Tom Brady in the Super Bowl and score 42 points, keep yourself in the game. That just doesn't happen often, right? You got to have some good defensive play. So, yeah, that's the number one thing for the Bengals. Defense, Joey B's health. So, yeah, you're spot on, informed watcher. Spitting facts. Breaking: Aja Wilson, WNBA's first ever 4-time MVP, is signing a 3-year, $5 million supermax contract to return to the Las Vegas Aces. Hey, bro, I'm all for the WNBA players getting their bread, bro. Like, they're finally getting paid more. That's what's up. That's what's up. The ratings they got up. I know that the NBA has been helping with their league, kind of help propping it up as well. But hey, bro, I'm all for them making their money. I'm all for it. I feel like people are more invested into the. I'm not gonna say that. I was about to say I feel like we talk about more of the WNBA than we do the NHL, but probably wrong on that. And that would make a lot of people mad. We've gotten 8 views total. Hey man, we're balling over here. We're balling. We're blessed. We got informed watcher 3 in the chat. Hopefully more people join, bro. This is just the last stream that I did, part 1, where the stream fucked up, and now we got part 2. We're blessed. We're chilling. We're chilling. I like it. I love it. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Hear that country song? I'm a hip hop guy. All right. See what else we got. Highest drafted safeties past 5 years. Okay, so sleeper college football has a list. Highest drafted safeties past 5 years. 2025 Malachi Starks, Baltimore Ravens. 2024 Cole Bishop, 60 Buffalo Bills. 2023 Brian Branch, 45 Detroit. 2022 Kyle Hamilton, the best safety in the league. All right. Baltimore. 2021 Javon Holland, 36 with Miami. Baltimore with 2 of those guys in there. Mm. Dude, Malachi Starks, man, I really like Malachi Starks, and I just made a video on him, but I don't know if you guys remember and it's just what professional athletes do. They talk shit. But I remember when he was talking about he was going to be the best safety. And I'm like, no, you weren't this past season. I was like, it was bro up in Seattle. Why am I forgetting his name? See, when I'm on stream, I'm telling you, I just be forgetting names that I know. Seattle's rookie safety. What's his name? Amanwari? Yes, yes, yes. Nick Amanwari. He was insane this past season. Xavier Watts was insane this past season. Uh freaking who else, bro? Who else? Who else? Who else am I forgetting? Who else am I forgetting? What? Okay. Well, let me look this up. I know I'm forgetting some players, bro. There's another safety I'm trying to think of, but also Kevin Winston Jr. Kevin Winston Jr., man, I know he wasn't eye popping, but for my Tennessee fans, like he was also a young guy that you can look at. Like he could really improve on his play in the second year. So be sure to be watching him. Oh yeah, the Devon Achane shit is popping off on X today. It's really popping off. Packers are clearing the way for wide receiver Matthew Golden to emerge in year two. He could pop off, bro. Because I mean, what did they? They got rid of Romeo Dobbs, so now they have Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson. Yeah, I mean, dude, I thought Matthew Golden was smaller. I thought he's like 5'10", 5'11". He's like 6 foot, 6'1", and he's fast as shit. I'm like, this is a guy that Jordan Love should be throwing to a lot more, a lot more. Because if you look at it right now, it's pretty clear that Christian Watson is the best wide receiver, and then it was Romeo Dobbs. But Matthew Golden, I feel like he's just one of those young wide receivers. Like the saying in that report, he could really pop off in his second year. It wouldn't shock me at all. Wouldn't shock me at all, man. Packers are interesting right now. If Micah Parsons isn't healthy, if if he takes a bit to get healthy, I don't know how good their defense is gonna be. I don't. I really don't. With Jeff Hafley leaving to the Miami Dolphins, dude, one of the most under. Okay, so I'm gonna get back on track, but their defense without Jeff Hafley, when you lose an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator, it can do numbers on teams, dude. It really can. Like you look at the Lions this past year with losing Ben Johnson, and Dan Campbell stepped in. He kind of did his part. I thought he did a pretty solid job, but it can do some numbers on your team, man. So you just don't know what to expect. And who did they hire? Did they hire somebody that was in house? Um, Packers defensive coordinator. Who is it? Oh shit! Okay, I forgot they hired Jonathan Gannon. Okay, that could be good. That could be good. Jonathan Gannon, man, and his, yeah, that could be a solid hire. Maybe they don't need to worry as much as I thought. Maybe they don't need to worry as much as I thought because I was thinking they probably hired somebody in house, but Jonathan Gannon, he fucking knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, man. And I see everybody right now shitting on Ruben Bain Jr. for his small arms. And let me just tell you right now, I would not be shocked if he ends up being good. Just the fact that everybody's being so negative about him, it wouldn't shock me. Like, be real with me. Like the way people are talking about him, it would not shock me if Ruben Bain ends up being a solid player. I feel like whenever there's all this negative shit, the opposite happens sometimes. And I'm like, he's a pass rusher. Let's just see what happens. Because I feel like it's being kind of overblown with the arm shit, dude. Like, let me look up. What I'm gonna look this up right now. Ruben Bain arm length. Yeah, the car crash thing that is sad. That's a whole thing entirely, right? Like when it gets into that, and like I remember when people would say shit about Jalen Carter. I get it. It's like a sensitive subject. If a player does something and they do something, They should be at fault. We saw it with Henry Ruggs. Henry Ruggs ended up going to prison like over what happened, right? Like players should be held accountable. So obviously there's like character concerns there, as there should be. I mean, these are NFL franchises that are paying a lot of money, not only the league itself, but victims. You know what I mean? Like there were actual like victims in this shit. Like there's things to think about when it comes to certain players doing things. Also, PFF had Kevin Winston as their best run defending safety. I'm glad I did a video on him. Let me see. Ruben Bain. Okay. Ruben Bain Jr. measured with an arm length of 30 and 7/8 inches. What the? Okay, that's kind of short. It's kind of short. Let me look. Brandon Graham. I'm gonna look up some of my own players. Brandon Graham arm length, because I swear, like I feel like Brandon Graham doesn't have the longest arms. 32 inches. Okay, we're talking 2 inches, bro. 2 inches. Let me look at some of the other top pass rushers. Micah Parsons. Arm length. Micah Parsons arm length. 31 and a half. The fuck? Dude, we're talking like an inch and a half. This is the shit that, oh man. This is the shit that gets me going with scouts sometimes. I mean, we're talking about measurables that are so small, they're so micro that people are going to be like, well, that's a major concern. Most players have a 30, 31 and a half, 32 inch, but he has 32 inches. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, obviously his power, his get off, that wouldn't have a major effect because of the arm length. I'm like, listen, I get it. Like certain measurables are a concern. I get it for like scouts, and that's the way the NFL's been forever. But sometimes when I see things like that and I look at that, I'm like, oh my god, dude, chill, chill. It's like you look at a wide receiver, right? You look okay. You look at wide receivers. You look at cornerbacks, wide receivers, cornerbacks. A wide receiver and a cornerback, they can have a really fast 40 speed, right? We've seen plenty of corners and wide receivers have like a 4.35, a 4.32, right? Well, I say this in lots of my film videos. Just because they have that 40 speed, and that's what scouts will go crazy after, right? They see that 40 speed, they're like, oh, report back to the team. Oh, so and so player is super fast. Okay, cool. Yeah, that 40 speed is cool. Guess what? Some corners and some wide receivers, well, maybe that wide receiver, his speed, maybe his route running doesn't match his speed. Maybe the cornerback, maybe his speed doesn't match his footwork. So maybe in reality, at that set position, they're not as good as you think just because of the measurable or just because of the 40 time. Some of that shit gets so overblown, it drives me absolutely nuts. But do you guys get what I'm talking about with like that comparison right there? How like there's certain things that need to match for a player to be successful. I'm like, okay, well, his arm length, I get it. But I'm like, what if he just overpowers offensive linemen? Maybe it doesn't fucking matter. But aside from all that shit, I understand all the crass stuff. That is a major concern. I'm not gonna dive into all that because that stuff is serious. But just talking about the measurables of his arms, bro. Like I'm like, holy shit. Like an inch and a half off from other players and whatnot. Like, what are we talking about here, bro? What are we talking about here? And maybe I'm off. Maybe I am tripping. Maybe it really is more serious, but I don't think it is. It's just like that wide receiver cornerback comparison I made, dude. Like, scouts get so gung ho on the 40 times. I'm like, well, that 40 time doesn't always matter because the player's footwork or their route running or their there's just so many factors that go into everything. I'm not gonna get all crazy about some fucking arm length. Informed Watcher 3 says I saw something that said all recent elite wide receivers ran 4.5s, which is slow for wide receivers. Exactly. It is slow. That is slow, dude, because even okay, so I went to camps, right? I'm fucking short, dude. I'm like literally like 5'5". I'm 5'5". I'm short as shit. But I'd go to camps and I'm not on NFL lasers and they clock me at like a 4.4. And maybe that 4.4 is the actual 4.5, 4.55 with lasers, right? We just don't know. But I'm getting off track here. But there were people So you sit here with a 4-4, right? A 4-5. If there's one thing I know about football, and other people can attest to this, in other sports too. So if you played football, you don't know exactly what I'm talking about. The speed that is perceived that you see like a set like 40-yard time, the on-field speed can literally not even match what you see on that 40 time. It doesn't even match. And that's one thing with wide receivers that like it just trips me out. With wide receivers and corners specifically, um, I see that. Like the 40 time just does not match the on-field speed. They're just when you get them on a football field, you get them on a football field with pads and with the helmet, they're much more explosive. You know, they're much more active as opposed to just running a straight line. And those players, they train for those 40s. But I can tell you this, man, unless a player is like a unless they're like a track runner, some of those guys just aren't gonna run it like others. I'm telling you that right now. And so you see those like 4 or 5 40s and shit like that. It's like get them on the field. Let's see how fast they actually are. Like right, like let's see them at the pro day. Let's watch them run their routes. That's how we determine, not off the 40 time. But yeah, dude, when it gets to some of those measurables and some of those things you see in the combine, drives me absolutely nuts. It really does. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, quit overblowing something that doesn't need to be overblown. But that's just the way the NFL draft process is. You know, we talked earlier about how big the NFL is. A lot of people talk a lot of things they've done throughout time. Some of those things stick. And some of those measurables and things they look at 40 time, all that shit in the combine, vertical, takes that into consideration. And some of it does matter. Some of it really does matter at times. But some of it I really feel like it's overblown. Going off on a tangent, guys. The what does this say? Baltimore Ravens are expected to take multiple tight ends in this draft. Well, they should have just kept Isaiah Likely. I know Isaiah Likely was like not himself, and he started later in the season. Like, what did he come in like week 4, week 5, or whatever? I thought Isaiah Likely was going to be the guy for Baltimore, not Mark Andrews. Not that I have anything against Mark Andrews, but I'm like, that's the guy that you guys should have invested into, dude. We've seen Isaiah Likely when he goes off. Come on now, let's not get it twisted. Dude, on Cam's pod, he said Georgia versus everybody. He said it says Cam believes Georgia has the best athletes in the country. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I think they do have some. What did it say? Has the best. It doesn't say has some of the best. Has the best. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. I think it's either Florida or California. If I'm being real with you, I think it's either Florida or California, and then I would say Texas is like third or fourth. Let me look. Let me look. Let's look at where the most NFL players are by state. Most NFL players by state. Shit. Shit. I should have known that. Like, why the fuck would I? Why would I make that guess that Texas would be third? I should have known. I should have known. Just off of guess, off of 2024, 2025 data. Texas frequently is number one with over 200, 300 plus players. Florida consistently 2 or 3. California consistently among the top 3. And then it has Georgia, a top 4 producer. Man, I was wrong. I was wrong, guys. Let me see. Best athlete. Yeah. I bet you Cam is meaning I bet you Cam's talking best football players. Probably, going into the sport, going like college football, NFL. I don't know, bro. Maybe he's talking about athletes. I'll have to watch the full video. But let's just say he's talking about that. Let's just say he's talking about that. Right, dude. I went to. Is anybody else watching live? Did you guys go to football camps growing up? and you'd go to like set camp like way far up north or way down south, and there'd be like renegade kids. There'd be like renegade, like out of state kids coming to the camp. Some of those kids were just nasty, bro. They were so good. It was like, oh shit, you know. I remember that. I remember that. There's this one college where I'm at down in southern Utah. It's like, well, not southern. I guess it's center Utah, but it's a super small uh college. It's called Snow College in Ephraim, Utah. And if you look up Ephraim, Utah on a map, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's literally desert ass shit, center of Utah. Super small college, right? Well, some kids in Utah go to Snow, right? Because say they didn't get like a Division 1 offer, they go to Snow to then try to go to Division 1. So I can think of a player off the top of my head, Garrett Bowles. Garrett Bowles, if I remember right, Garrett Bowles was down at Snow College. Then he transferred to Utah, and then he got drafted from Utah to the Denver Broncos. And yeah, it's just interesting, dude. How you come across some of these players out of state at those camps. Like you go to those camps and you get these guys out of state going to those camps, and it's just interesting. Like a small ass college like that bringing in out of state kids. It's pretty cool, honestly. It's pretty cool. And one thing that I wish I was a thing when I was in high school is how big 7-on-7 is now. 7-on-7 football is absolutely huge now. And 7-on-7 is fun when you're a skilled positions player. So I know people that like to hit really don't like that shit, but when you're a cornerback or, running back, wide receiver and shit like that, catching shit out of the backfield, getting pass breakups, shit's fun, man. Dude. Of course there's AJ Brown shit in my ex. There always is. I bet it kind of depends on position because if I was playing edge, I wouldn't want to rush against a left tackle from Iowa. Yeah, you're right. You're right, bro. You're right. There's a report that let me look this up. Let me look this up. Jordan Tyson. So there's some people that are saying that the Chiefs have a lot of interest in Jordan Tyson. And Jordan Tyson, honestly, that'd be a pretty good selection for the Kansas City Chiefs. I know he's dealing with the health stuff that we talked about earlier, but I feel like they just kind of need to just throw darts and try to hit on wide receiver. Because Xavier Worthy, he still has a ceiling. I don't know how high that ceiling actually is, but they got Rasheed Rice. Rice is always dealing with legal issues, and Travis Kelce's getting a little bit older. Which Travis Kelce, credit to him, dude. I thought Travis Kelce's been like garbage. He hasn't been like what we've seen in the past, but he's still had some pretty damn good seasons for a tight end. And I feel like some people really haven't noticed that. Like he's still had good seasons, but for adding Jordan Tyson, I feel like that'd be very necessary for the Kansas City Chiefs. I do. I do. Like it's just like I know you're watching Informed Watcher and whoever else is watching, but we talked about we talked about how Jordan Tyson might have star potential. Like he legit might have star potential. And having Patrick Mahomes when Mahomes gets healthy, having a guy like Jordan Tyson, and then you have a burner like Xavier Worthy that you don't need to try to make a number 1 wide receiver. Chiefs could kind of get back on track to being pretty damn dangerous, bro. They could. There's some factors that play into that, but their offense, they could be dangerous if they got a guy like Jordan Tyson. And they don't have Matt Nagy over them anymore. And I thought Matt Nagy literally made them bad as opposed to Eric Bieniemy. That's just my opinion. And Matt Nagy going over to the New York Giants, I don't think Giants fans should be very excited about that. That's just my opinion, bro. But what do I know? Maybe Jackson Dart could just ball out this year with Nagy, but I have my doubts. But yeah, I really think the Chiefs adding Jordan Tyson, mm, AFC West. I don't think the Broncos would worry, but those other teams like the Chargers, maybe not. Guess the Chargers have good defense too. Guess it's just the Raiders. But no, that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. We're not far away from the draft too. We are not far away at all. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys think the Chiefs adding Jordan Tyson could be pretty damn dangerous? I think it could be. Yeah, informed watcher says Mahomes, Walker, Tyson, Rice, Worthy, Kelsey would scare me if I was a DC. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, dude. Because I think the Chiefs offense is gonna get back to not being this nitpicky offense throwing 4 yards, you know, out in the flat, 7 yards. I think if they added a guy like Jordan Tyson and and having Rice and Worthy and Kelsey out of an empty set, right? Out of an empty set with whoever else. Oh shit, man. Mm-mm. That'd be scary for defenses. That'd be very scary for defenses. And you throw in some packages. You put Kenneth Walker in those empty sets as well. Kenneth Walker knows how to receive. We saw him in the Super Bowl. He's a pretty good receiver. He's not crazy like a CMC or anything, but he's dangerous as a receiving threat. So I think adding a guy like Jordan Tyson, wouldn't want to see the Birds go up against him. Well, our defense is good, but I'm just playing. I'm just trolling. There's some defenses that could handle that, but that would be a lot for defensive coordinators to handle. So we'll see if the Chiefs end up going wide receiver. That would be very interesting. Very interesting. Dude, shout out to y'all that have freaking lasted with me, bro. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it, bro. Sometimes YouTube is really hard and sometimes the shit gets discouraging, but I don't know. I've just kept pushing through. I'm just like, whatever, man. I look at some of the top creators and they just say to keep pushing, and that's exactly what I do, dude. I go, so I do HVAC, so I go and do my job. It's been a little bit slow, but when it gets really busy, I'll literally be working uh I'll literally be working from like 7:30 all the way till like 6:30, and then I'll be getting off. And sometimes I'll just crank out a fast video for you guys, or sometimes I'll just hop on a live. So I just want to, yeah. I'm like, dude, I got to get lives going, bro. I just gotta fucking put something out there to see if people watch it. Not even as a tester, to just be like, I'm just doing it. It's happening. We're not scheduling it. We'll see who shows up. We'll see who pulls up. But I appreciate y'all coming in though, man. I appreciate you. And if you're a new viewer, like I mentioned earlier, be sure to hit the like. Be sure to, hit the subscribe. We're rolling. I got something on my nose, bro. I got a little piece of skin. Gotta get that off. Can't have that hanging, bro. It's like when you be looking at somebody and they got like something on their face or on their nose, and you like want to tell them, but you don't want to be rude at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. All right. Let's see what else we got on here. Okay, QB prospect Drew Aller visiting with the Steelers. Just not a fan of a lot of QBs in this draft, dude. I'm not. Let's look at Drew Aller's stats this past season. Stats aren't the end all be all, but I just kind of like to get a feel of kind of what they did, you know. Let's look. Oh my god, bro. Quit playing. Drew Aller stats. Okay. All right. So, was he hurt? He had to have been hurt, right? Because it has for, I mean, these really aren't bad stats. I just don't know if he was hurt in the 2025 season. Because it has for 2023, 25 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Um, and then in 2024, 24 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. And in 2025, 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He had to have been hurt, right? I'm almost positive. Drew Aller, injury. Oh yeah, he got hurt in October 11th. But honestly, listen, I talked about how I'm not really invested in a lot of QBs in this draft. I don't really think highly of a lot of them. Not being rude, just I'm just not really feeling a lot of them. Those 2 years, 2023 and 2024, are really not that bad, man. They're not. I'm like, maybe there's a little bit of something there. It looks like he's 6'5", 235. That's a pretty damn big quarterback. Pretty damn big, bro. Like he's super tall. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's another option for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I've heard about this kid. I watched one Penn State game. So I watched it later in the season, and he wasn't starting. So maybe there's something there. You just never know with some of these guys that are going to be later on picks. But honestly, that's really not bad, dude. 25 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 24-8, then 8-3 before you got hurt in October 11th. I don't know. Let's see what the drafts got him mocked at. Well, um the what the fuck am I trying to say? The drafts. Yeah. The mock drafts. Where do they have Drew Aller mocked at in the draft? Where they got him, bro? Fourth round. Okay. There's a mock draft that has him second round. Los Angeles Rams to develop behind Matthew Stafford. Okay. The Jets. Nope. I don't like that. Yeah, I feel like a lot of young QBs are gonna be linked to the Rams because the Rams probably are gonna need to eventually find Matthew Stafford's successor. So that makes sense. I love to see a young guy end up on a good team, right? I do, because like I know I have a Tennessee fan in here. I would have loved for Cam Ward in his first year to have better coaches, but hey, he still showed great signs. QBs can still show good signs even with a bad coaching staff. But damn, bro, I mean, with the coaching staff like Sean McVay, who's complaining about that, right? As a young guy, I don't think anybody's complaining about that. Dude, we're literally just throwing through X and scrolling through and finding shit. Yeah, dude, Baltimore's fucking GM Eric DaCosta. Yeah, bro, your whole situation was kind of weird with how it played out with Max Crosby. Even if you find out more about his injury or whatever, it's like, bro, we all were aware of what was going on. Come on now. That was weird. That was weird. I didn't even really talk about that much, but yeah, they bailed. Oh man. Yeah, man. Hey, you know what? We'll stream tomorrow. We'll stream tomorrow. I think that's about it for today. I've tried to find as much as possible. If I stream tomorrow, I'll come back with like a list. I'll have a bunch of stuff to talk about if I in fact, end up streaming tomorrow and shit. But yeah. Appreciate you guys watching. Come for the next stream tomorrow. But I think that's it for today. And informed watcher, thanks for making that chat live, brother. Appreciate it. Anyways, guys, I'm out of you. I'll catch you on the next one. Deuces.